I am... Ooh, is the audio okay? Sorry. Okay, sorry. Hi, yes, this is the first match of the Highway to the Threemus Zone, Swiss Rounds Week 3. I am one of your co-commentators, Groundflyer, and this is the Magma route. We have two 2-0 racers, Zyrak and Couch23. This is going to be extremely exciting. The stakes are very high here. Whoever wins this ends up in the first group round, or group play-in for getting into table, and 3 advance there, and whoever loses is in the second one and will be facing a much larger group. I am here with Antidale. What do you think about this match?
I'm definitely still kind of at step 1 of wake up because it's a little bit after 9 o'clock in the morning, but this should be a really good jolt of energy. Really love these objectives. Having to get the package and pigtail, both kind of terminal key items that who knows where they're going to be. You just kind of find them and hope. So we could be in for a little bit of a time here. Plus, these are 2 great racers. Really excited to see whether the seed will eat them or they'll eat the seed.
Yeah, I'm not sure which to root for. I often root for Free Enterprise because, yeah, I want some cruelty. Oh, by the way, speaking of good objectives here, I love the little call out there in the objectives shown on screen. Definitely a big fan of System of a Down, so that's awesome. But yeah, this is going to be really exciting. We've got an Eddie start. I'm sure they're both really excited to have Eddie as the starting character. So, you know, we'll see what's happening here. But also I see that Couch has a nice naming convention here. What is that, Antidale?
That is a shout out to Hall & Oates and their song Maneater.
Yeah, I think, you know, maybe he's hungry. Actually, Tella is hungry, literally. That is his name. So yeah, I hope they will feast upon each other this round. This is going to be really exciting. But yeah, the way the math works out here, whoever advances gets into that first play-in race, and 3 then go to table. But I believe there are 4 or 5 entrants for that race, so the odds of actually getting into table just by winning this match are extremely high. And if you don't win this match, then that second play-in is going to be a lot hungrier racers. So whoever wins this gets a huge advantage and has a real shot at advancing.
Yeah, we have 9 2-0 runners so far in the Magma group. And so there'll be 4 2-0 races as well as a 2-0 and 1-1 race. So that's why we can have either 4 or 5 getting into that first play-in race. And then if you don't advance in the first one, you'll be dropped into the second one as well. So the winner of this gets 2 shots at getting into the play-in. Each of them for Magma route does indeed have that the top 3 runners getting straight in. Whereas the hook route, which will be our follow-up race today, only gets the winner of each of those 2 races. Just one of those little distinguishing characteristics between the Magma and the hook routes for this particular race, or for this tournament.
Yeah, and the other thing is Magma is a much smaller group because it's everybody that went 2 and 1. I don't recall the numbers, but I know that it's much smaller, and that basically that Hook is about twice the size, and I think Hook has about 50. So one advances in those much larger groups. The play-in's going to be much tighter there. But these are exciting matches and just such great players here. So we're going to see who the starting characters and what item we get. Do love Atella. Always love starting with Atella. Bahamut summon. Interesting. Well, I'm guessing if these runners get Iridia, they will be using her very, very liberally as soon as they get some MP on her, because Bahamut is just a destructive force.
Yeah, a little expensive to cast her. You'll need a few levels or just constant tens or ethers as she levels up a little bit, but would be definitely very, very happy to have that little summoner and that big dragon on your side. But we're probably going to see some quick character dips. Eddie is not quite the dream early. There's no real damage potential here out of these 2. So we're going to be hopefully looking for like an Edge or a Sid or a Kane and some weapons for them in order to kind of go forward. Probably see an early dip into the watery passage, maybe a quick check-in Baron, or straight to Mysidia from Couch.
Yeah, actually, and Couch is going to Mysidia getting those 2 characters, yeah. So that's one of the nice things about Mysidia is you just instantly walk up and grab 2 characters. I think it's basically like the quickest way to grab anybody. We get a DKC, and someone else, ... And another DKC, yes, you've got the 2 already. First and second Cecils in the same spot. I am here for it.
Yeah, so now we're just hoping for some really good Holy Swords so we can climb more deals. We still need someone who can deal some damage. In a pinch, you can go search for dancing daggers to give Edward something to do, and he can actually carry you all the way through ordeals if they're friendly enough bosses, especially with Tella tossing some blinks on him, but still not the dream. Still want a little bit of punch and power.
For sure. One thing I noticed on Zyrak's side, I don't know if we'll end up getting Iridia, but if we have the Bahamut, hopefully we'll see one. But there was also a Sylph in Baron shop. So in terms of making Iridia a lot more useful, even in the early game, getting Sylph would be really helpful.
Yeah, and Tilch in chat pointing out this is also a good idea to maybe save before doing Visidia, because I would love to hang on to those Cecils and let them know that they're there, but not actually go grab them. Because we do have the buy flag on, which means as soon as the character is dismissed from your party, they're gone forever. You can't get them back like you'll be able to in table flags. So if you have someone that you're going to want later, it's good to see if you can just leave them around.
Yeah, and honestly, that's really helpful, especially for the Cecils, because there's a whole big agility issue with them, and they're kind of complicated to deal with in these flags because of the vanilla agility. And they're not really useful enough to deal with that unless you get a good Holy Sword. So, since we saw 2 Cecils, we're probably not going to see good Holy Sword because that's just the way the dice roll. But in reality, if we do see a Crystal or Excal, then we want to grab them. Otherwise, it might not be great to have them in your party.
Yeah, we do see some that nice Elven Bow from on Zyrak's side in the weapon shop in Kaipo. A little expensive very early. Probably going to do a little more looting before he actually buys one, but good to note that it's there. It's a really good bow. Also gives mage type attack. So if you fight against maybe the Mad Ogres or Asura or the Maga Sisters, you get quadruple damage, which is really nice to have against them.
Yeah, and on top of that, if you give it to a white mage, it's got +5 willpower, I believe, so it's as good as, like...
it's the black mage stat.
Oh, it's the black mage stat? Oh gosh, yep. I didn't realize that. I am totally wrong. Wow, I've been totally wrong all this time. But yeah, it's super good.
Yeah, and Maggie the cat, our tracker, pointing out that we saw a Thunderclaw in the water passage. If we find a Yang or an Edge, we'll be very happy. It's also just, PK's favorite weapon, except maybe a crystal sword.
Nice little spicy ninja hat there at the end. That's a really good defense item. Oh, and we have a cane over in Damcian. So if we get any good spears or axes, Kane is your best bet. He can hold a whole lot of weapons.
Yeah, we still haven't seen a whole lot of good weapons yet. A little bit still on the low power side.
Yeah, which kind of stinks for when you're stuck with DKCs and an Eddie and Nictella. Like, there's not any power in this group yet. So it'll be interesting to see if they can power up a little bit.
And if I'm Couch, I'm thinking about just looting a bunch to find some black swords maybe, because DKC with a black sword has actually got a little bit of value.
Was that a spicy little Moonveil that just came out of that dungeon here? That's
indeed. Wow, there's Moonveil.
Yeah, Moonveils are great because, for those who don't know, it's basically a Star Veil which reflects direct cast spells. Plus, it has infinite blink, which means that you literally cannot take damage from any regular physical attack for the entire fight, which can work for bosses. You can make bosses that are extremely tough free.
No, and Maggie did see that when Zyrak peeked the waterfall, we did have a turtle hanging out there, taking a nice bath. Ooh, mute knives in the weapon shop there. If we find Edge, that's going to be real nice too. Mute knife is one of my favorite pickups for him out of these shops. It's kind of costly, 10k, but again, getting that mage attack damage is really nice to have.
Not only that, honestly, it's actually pretty good early game for Kayn, because Kayn starts with just trash, like the regular weapon he has in his hand, just the regular spear, is just, it doesn't do any damage. Because it's basically for like a starting level character. So, switching to a mute knife is actually real helpful for him. It gives him a little bit of starting power.
Although, possibly fun fact, Spear is the most accurate spear in the game.
Spear. I guess that's technically right. Yeah, it's the spear that's called Spear. But yeah, the accuracy is really high. Too bad the damage is astronomically low.
Yes, it is abysmal in the damage front, but it is a 99% accurate weapon. And we got another Kayn and a Leviathan sitting on top of Hobbs. Zyrak looks to be taking this, possibly for the XP, possibly for second Kayn.
And it looked like, I think I saw Zyrak go over to Mysidia and check out those Cecils and nope out of them. So he has that knowledge, and then can also come back later if it's necessary. But yeah, I think that right now it's better to have the Kayns than the Cecils, because Kayn is going to find something to equip and use no matter what, whereas Cecil's got like a little less odds of finding something that makes him viable.
Yeah, it seems like Couch has picked up a Dancing Dagger along the way here. Eddie's going to be his main damage here in Antlion Cave.
Honestly, wait, is that something that Kane can use? That might be something to give to Kane just because of survivability. Since Eddie's going to starts with 60 HP and might be one shot, that might be something to give to Kane instead. And have him, when you use it as an item, it's basically like a spell, right?
It is. I'm not too worried about Eddie's survivability. If you throw him in the back row here, it's just not a big deal. He's going to be fine.
You've got a Mylon Z here at Antlion. That should be, pretty cake here. So, not too worried. Yeah, throwing Cure 2s down. Cure does damage to Mylon. He's a zombie type, I believe, right?
He's undead and a zombie. So it is the undead quality, I believe, that makes him there. We have that big bomb also in the inventory that could be tossed just to do a whole lot of damage and probably kill him outright.
Yeah, but it looks like Couch is just going for the Cure 2s here and hanging on to that big bomb because that could be useful in other places. Whereas doing 300 damage at a tick is plenty to take this out. He takes him out pretty fast. Oh, and Zyrak is actually going after one of the objectives here. Oh my gosh. Okay, that may be the worst item I've ever seen come out of a key item boss here with. Was that a cabin that came out of Antlion? That's pretty impressively bad.
Yeah, you do still have a chance for some pretty low tier items coming out of the boss spots. They're just pretty reduced in the T Wildish flags. That's always controlled by the treasure flag. And here we've got a Nope Rope. Zyrak fighting both of the noodles very early. I guess he just is hankering for some twisty fun.
Maybe he just wants pasta. I don't know about you, but I'm super hungry. I could definitely go for some like rigatoni or linguine or something like that.
I don't know, it's a little early for pasta for me.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. But you can still beat it up with swords and stuff. Yeah, we've got double noodles going on right now. It's never too early for pasta, Paul. Don't even say that. But yeah, we've got objective 3 completed for Zyrak here. Going in, checking some of the chests, that's good. One of the nice things about getting an early Tella, why I love having an early Tella, is you can go into some places and loot pretty good items. Like in the Mist Cave, there's only 4 chests, but oftentimes you get super spicy loot out of it, so it's worth going in here. Unfortunately, Flame Spear is not awesome, but it's at least somewhat of an upgrade for Kane.
Yeah, you're not feeling too bad about that Flame Spear. You're not feeling great. Zyrak will be feeling really good about it, though, once he goes down to an Antlion. That Flame Spear going to do some really solid damage, probably just one jump to take out that Mylon Z.
Oh, good point. Wait, what's a Mylon Z?
It's a Mylon Z, but not for the United States. Ooh, Dwarfax.
Dwarfax is great. So and especially in this party specifically, Dwarfax is actually a ranged weapon. It's the only ranged weapon that Kane can equip through normal means anyway. And yeah, when you put it on, there's something called the back row glitch, which once you equip it, once you give the back row capability to a character, it stays forever. So all you need to do is equip Kane with the Dwarfax and unequip it, put on whatever else, and he will be able to do full damage in the back row. He will be able to do full damage to back row enemies that you're fighting. So it's super useful to be able to get that on your melee.
Yeah, and also nice to know that you have it in your inventory for if you go and pick up those 2 Cecils, and since we do have vanilla agility turn on in this tournament, one of those Cecils will become your anchor, and you can throw that Dwarfax on that Cecil and keep an eye on him to give him, just slow him down a little bit, weigh him down, give him -5 to his agility, so that your other Cecil gets faster and the rest of your party itself gets faster relative to that Cecil.
Yeah, relative agility is kind of one of the biggest things to kind of wrap your head around early on in this. And I've been playing for maybe almost half a year at this point, which isn't a lot compared to a lot of people, but there's a lot I still don't know about relative agility and kind of how do you set that up. But yeah, it's basically you want your anchor to be lower so that everyone else attacks faster. Looks like we're getting the Mylons out of the way too, because Mylon and Friends is at Defend Fabul here, and that big bomb is coming out. This is actually pretty perfect timing to use it.
Yeah, cleared all the gas, do a decent bit of damage to that Mylon. We should get the body text pretty soon here. Got about another 1,000 to go, probably on Mylon.
Yeah. in this spot, Mylon is pretty free. You have to be careful, though. If you take out those zombies in a really scary spot and have to fight Mylon for a while, he starts punching really, 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 really hard, very slowly. It kind of speeds up very slowly, I think, and will wreck your party if you're not careful.
Also, if you take out Mylon and leave the zombies around, they will punch real hard on the moon. It's a bad idea on the moon. You want to take out the zombies first in most spots, because the zombies punch very hard once Mylon's gone.
Yeah, actually, the zombies are worse. I think they punch about as hard as Mylon does, but there's 4 of them, and they start right away, and you just die. It's not great.
Yeah, it's a bad time.
0 out of 10 would not recommend. So we got Zyrak over at the Mylon Z fight at Antlion. He's gonna be super excited to see a cabin, because everybody needs a cabin. And oh my body, Mylon is saying on the other side. So double Mylon defeat.
Double Mylon all across the seed. What does it mean?
Yeah, I love being an Antlion and having Tella, because you just can instantly cast exit and get the heck out of there. Having that early exit really saves a lot of time. Ooh, and we've got a pass over on defend, so Moon may not be required at all. Could be completely, totally haunted.
And Couch risking just being forever blocked into that tower by trying to dance around that kid. Only gets blocked a little bit, but ooh, hey, Ogre Axe, good stuff. Finally, Kane gets a real weapon.
Yeah, Ogre Axe is that's. Well, I mean, it depends on who you ask. I think Ogre Axe is maybe the best axe. I'm definitely Team Ogre Axe.
I mean, they have different applications. The Dwarf Axe is the great axe for your agility. The Ogre Axe is a great axe for better accuracy, so more consistent damage. And Rune Axe is great if you have a Sora or the Maga Sisters in your path.
Yeah, Rune Axe is awesome against mage types, so that will blow stuff up if you have to take out mad ogres, especially if you're taking hook route. Those are great for XP. So if you have a Rune Axe, you can crush them in like one shot, basically.
Yeah, I mean, the Ogre Axe also does extra damage to them too, because they are ogres, and the Ogre Axe does that damage. Poison Axe is the least favorite axe for me. Oh, I guess the Hand Axe, technically, because whoever equips a Hand Axe. The Poison Axe is so inaccurate that it's just kind of hard to deal with. And we got a nice Palom here. Ground Flyer, I know we've had some people really enjoy getting early Rydia, or maybe leveling up Palom to a specific level. What's the deal with that?
Well, okay, so yeah, one of the things in this flag set is there's a glitch called the Warp Glitch. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. And so with Palom and Rydia, they both get Warp at a different time. Rydia, I think, gets it at like level 10, and Palom's like level 30. I know that's not exactly right, but it's close to that. So what Warp does then is, if you're in Dwarf Castle and you do the Dwarf Castle fights, when you're done, you can actually use Warp when you're in the throne room, and it will take you back to the crystal altar where the crystal was, and you can the way it works is the Luca Cave actually uses the same crystal room as Dwarf Castle, but you get the item out of the Luca Cave. You don't get it out of Dwarf, so it doesn't matter. You can use it both ways. So you end up being able to warp into that crystal altar and get the Luca item, and then walk out, and you can walk back into Dwarf and get also the Dwarf item. So it gives you double shot. But you never want to go in there and not have a Black Mage that's set up and ready to go. Although conveniently, if you have a Tella and you go do ordeals, you don't have to worry about that at all. Was that what you're referring to, or did I get it wrong?
That was absolutely what I was referring to. And while you're giving that wonderful explanation, Couch finds the Kaipo guards, tosses the Stardust at him, and lets the officer retreat, getting just some of the experience, but does pick up a little bit more with that life potion that he tossed at one of the dying soldiers. Since enemies in Final Fantasy IV have 0 vitality by default, tossing a life potion as they're dying gets them to come right back up, and then immediately die again, getting you double credit. And hey, we have a little bit of pseudo vanilla-y stuff. We're going to get some elements. We'll probably get a little bit of leg here too.
I think I'm going to call that Neapolitan. I don't know if that's quite right, but it's got the multi-flavors, so vanilla is one of them in the Mylon. But yeah, unfortunately, switching over to Rubicante in the second form here on elements is actually like maybe the toughest part. So Oftentimes reflex strats are really good here, but yeah, you can see Conte is doing some serious damage.
Now, Ground Flyer, is vanilla the finest of the flavors?
That's probably a reference that I don't understand, but I love vanilla, yes. I don't know any oh, crap. Is it Bare Naked Ladies? And I totally missed it.
It sure is.
Ah, I'm so angry at myself. I should have known that. Oh, man. I love BNL. I've been to like 4 of their concerts. I totally missed that. Ah.
But Turtle Down, that's probably the last turtle we'll see, since we already know that the waterfall has the real turtle. Couch is just about to get through ordeals here.
Yeah, we'll see what the item is here, but getting that Tela powered up is so useful because the utility is astronomical. You get spells like Weak and Stone, you get Cure 4, you get Berserk. Like, there's a lot of things that you get early on that you don't get from other characters that you can just kind of blow up a lot of free bosses in places, and you know, it really enhances what you can do. And we got a Pink Tail. That is required for Objective 4 here. So hoping to find a hook at this point. Probably the runners are, although I'm kind of hoping for Magma personally for reasons. But yeah, it looks like Zyrak is also over in Baron Inn. I don't think we've seen anybody do this yet, so I'll be curious to see what comes out here. But I think, actually, based on what we've seen, this has got to be underground, or it's got to lead to underground unless there's a Mist Dragon hiding somewhere.
Yeah, we could definitely have a hiding Mist Dragon. Dr. Luge here in the second spot is a little obnoxious. Not going to be too bad. Sadly, making Edward go to sleep, and Edward's still probably the top damage dealer on this team.
Yeah, Dr. Luge is I would say he's more annoying than tough. You rarely end up actually having to deal with like really serious damage dealing garbage, but it's like you have to sit through cutscenes and then cast poison on you. And when you have poison cast on you, you can't berserk your characters. You can't cast like positive status effects on them. So it's a whole huge problem. And he's down.
We'll get a nice Porum for our reward.
And we've got Magma Key. Awesome. Well, I mean, there's pluses and minuses. I would say I'd rather see Magma. So Magma is the, you know, as the routes that we have in the Swiss round indicate, Magma is the easier route underground. So basically, you know, you just use it, you blow up the mountains, and you go under. Whereas the hook, you actually have to go through Ebelin Cave and then top Tower of Babel and take out a couple of very difficult bosses.
Yeah, especially difficult for the level that you're going through without having access to the underground or any particular great leveling spot.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't have sirens yet usually, and you don't really have anything particularly good to fight, so you end up going in there pretty weak. Although you can do some nice leveling on those Mad Ogres, but regardless, they don't have to worry about that. So we're probably going to see some divergence here quickly. But Couch is not forgetting to do the objective here, so he is completing the boss of Mist Cave Hill. Oh, maybe not. He's resetting out, but he at least knows that Noodle's there.
Yeah, and he did check the objective tracker screen just a little bit before, so he could just be saving that for some other time. Not quite sure why you wouldn't just go ahead and do it, but you know, not unreasonable to just kind of pass on it for the moment.
Yeah, maybe just thinks it's going to take a little too long, although that spot's pretty low hit points, so yeah, it looks like he's going back and just finishing the job here. Oh, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, Zoe, you might be right. He might have just saw it reset and was like, oh, actually it's an objective, and flip back. So either way, he's taking care of business.
Yeah, it could have been a D-miss check too for both spots, and then decided to finish it off. Also, that Density Dagger, like you said, is a magic attack, so you do get the Blaze counter. It's a little unfortunate. Just means Ogobo is going to do, you know, most of the party's health here instead of just half.
Oh, oof. I actually totally would do that. I forgot about that. I think the spell casting is super painful. But doesn't matter. It's out.
And this is actually a kind of high magic defense spot. You notice that like that comet only did 300, and even if it was using Porum's black magic stat for it, that's still low for a comet as a single. So I think we saw the Density Dagger only do a couple hundred too. This is kind of a painful spot to use magic on, and Ogopogo's just not any fun here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, despite the fact that there are two Canes, which, you know, are pretty good offense, they actually start surprisingly weak. So, you know, even having them, the physical offense is just not that high, unfortunately. I'm actually kind of surprised Zyrak is going up ordeals. I guess he wants to just get the superpowered Tele before he goes underground, but I almost feel like if I saw Magma Key, I would just race it personally, like, because you can get underground, get good chests, good checks, but I can understand just wanting to get that done, and honestly, obviously, it works in his favor, getting a power-up Tele and a pass, so that's good for him.
Yeah, the choice to go underground first could get you to have find some sirens and a coffin, and then be able to get some levels on Quack Kid and your canes to make this entire ordeal a little bit faster. That'd be the main advantage for skipping it. But he could just be looking to get weak on his warp on his Tele, because Tele will learn warp after completing ordeals as well, and that just means warp castle becomes an instant option for him.
Yeah, speaking of, you were talking about that flame spear. I'm pretty sure Zyrak just obliterated that Mylon Z in 2 shots, because I looked over and I blinked and it was gone. So that flame spear probably took care of business.
Yeah, flame spear real good against Mylon Z's.
Unsurprising, yeah. Mylon Z is weak against a whole bunch of crap. What is it? It's holy and fire. But then I think there's a double, because he's zombie and undead, right? There's 2 different things, so you can get kind of multiplier damage.
Yeah, if you have a Crystal Sword absolutely rocks Mylon Z absurdly in the face. Even level 1 Cecil with a Crystal Sword will do ridiculous stuff. But the Elements version of Mylon Z doesn't get all the same weaknesses as the normal Mylon Z. So Mylon Z is also a flying enemy, because that makes sense for the Earth Fiend, but it does prevent him from being quaked around.
Yeah, which is a bummer. Quake is such a nice, powerful spell. Although I don't think any of the Palums that have been here are having quite yet, because it is it around level 20 that you get it?
It is 23, I believe.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, Zoe, as well.
Yeah, and Bakashinobi in chat pointing out that white arrows also do ridiculous damage to Mylon Z, because again, they actually have one of the few ways that you can actually hit a double multiplier. The Rubicant form of Elements also can hit a double, get that double, because he's weak to ice and is a mage, where our normal flavor Rubicant is not a mage. So fun times in the consistency of Final Fantasy IV.
Yeah, that whole Elements fight is just a kind of cobbled together nonsense, but it kind of sort of works sometime. But honestly, I very rarely see the other enemies, because I usually try and throw a Star Veil and just reflect cast so that the other forms don't show up, and you can just kill it with, I think, before it does the refill and everything, so it's a lot quicker. And despite the fact that both of these racers have been kind of going in different order, they're pretty much even right now. They've both finished everything in the overworld and checked everything, so they're going underground almost simultaneously, so this race is extremely tight right now.
Couch selling the Thunderclaw, but we haven't seen anyone who can use it, so not too sad about that. But would be nice to maybe keep around if we find an edge. Also selling the Flame Spear, buying a bunch of Cure 2s.
Yeah, one of the difficult things here, if you don't have a lot of items yet, and you see a shop where you want to get something, oftentimes you want to kind of grab it before you leave. You want to get everything you need, and you don't have to come back and deal with that stuff. So, you have to be really careful, but you often want to sell good items. So I would be surprised, if not too long from now, we see a Bahamut get the Bahamut gets, just because there hasn't been Iridia yet. Why bother? Just to get that cash.
Yeah, if we see a bunch of sirens for sale and coffins, I would not be surprised to see that Bahamut sold.
But also, there's no excuse for couch selling that Thunderclaw. That gets 250 gold. Come on now. But no, I mean, obviously, Elements is out of the way, and Kainazo was found in the waterfall, I think. So I don't think there's a couple of big enemies that are weak to Thunder, and also the Dr. Luge. So yeah, a number of Thunder element weakness bosses are out of the way anyway.
Yeah, I see Jeebus in chat. Jeebus, how much of a siren can you buy for that Thunderclaw?
Yeah, 1/8 or 1/12, or I don't know. Math is hard. 1/16. There you go. Beautiful.
Yeah, and Zyrak, here of the people, checking Job Dwarf, finding that it's an administrative law judge. I am curious about the practicalities of Dwarven law, but I don't think it's time to get into that quite yet.
Yeah, it's a little too early in the morning, maybe, honestly. Or in the afternoon, in my case. It doesn't matter, too early. I think it's always too early to talk about law stuff. I don't know, too hurts my brain. But we did see hourglasses. Where is... Oh, that's in Dwarf Castle. So hourglasses are super useful against a lot of bosses. They're super useful if you want to do gold dragon grinds on the moon, because they will just stop the bosses for a pretty decently long amount of time. So, you know, you can take out a lot of tough stuff and get good grinds, or take out tough bosses that are, you know, basically make them free in that process.
Couch is selling some of the inventory to afford that Gungear Spear finally gets enough. Kane actually has a real weapon.
Yeah, Gungnir is definitely, like, I would consider that basically the first good spear. Like, the first decently relevant end-game spear. It's kind of not the best, but it's definitely very decent. It's like, you know, that's sort of the way I think of the light sword for Cecil.
Yeah, and Zoe suggesting that Couch sell that whistle. I know that I have like total mental block in seeing a whistle in the inventory. I pick it up out of a chest. I'm like, cool, that's 10k, and then I get to Zeromus, and there's still probably a whistle in my inventory because, oh my gosh, being able to see it when you're selling stuff is nearly impossible.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Like, one of the tough things when you're doing, you want to sell fast, so you're kind of jumping through your inventory trying to find things to get rid of. A lot of times there are things that you're just never going to use, like J items. You don't always use all of them, so it's very difficult to be able to get rid of things, and you kind of just flip through and miss stuff that's obvious. Zyrak is heading into Feymarch, found a rune axe, and then found the monsters very quickly. So that's really useful for them, both because if you want to loot Feymarch, there's only one monster box, and the treasure in here is phenomenal. So if you can get around that monster box, you can just collect all the other treasure, and there's always excellent loot here.
Yeah, it's really nice to see that box early so that you can freely loot the rest and not have to play the am I too far in order to reset and re-grab stuff? Am I going to waste more time than it's worth? Couch dancing with that dwarf a little bit.
Couch, what are you doing? You got the moves going on here. That was hilarious. Couch loves the memes. He's here for it. Kind of a dead shop, although there are ether ones. So, you know, there's definitely going to be the thought of, with the tele here, D-Machine Grind is at least on the table.
It's on the table. I don't think it's probably the best idea unless we find no sirens anywhere in the underground. We got Coffin and Hourglass there, and we've seen a couple of Ninja Shirts. Ninja Shirts are sell really well, but they also have some really stupidly high magic defense. We've seen some earlier races where an edge with a Ninja Shirt just absolutely dodges stuff, and that Stardust run's a pretty nice pickup too.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I also, I'm definitely on Team Ninja Shirt. But yeah, there's been a lot of really good gear. Honestly, unfortunately, a lot of good gear for Edge. But yeah, that Stardust Rod is extremely powerful. It's plus 15 Wisdom. So if you throw that on a Palom or Iridia or even a Tela, honestly, their magic goes way up, especially early game.
Yeah, and Team Ninja Shirt being the name of the 2v2 team of Penguinator and Flurry.
Very nice. Yes, I'm all about that. So yeah, we haven't seen yet who the bosses are here. Feymarch is often faded because these bosses are supremely difficult, especially the Leviathan spot is so fast. And we've got a Valvalis. Oh, no thank you. But there's definitely a free guard spot there on the right. And with that coffin they just found, honestly, like, it could be... Like, oh no, that's right. We've already seen Kaipo guards, so it's Baron guards.
It's Baron guards, but we did pick up an Hourglass in those back 4 chests here. So we do have an Hourglass available in order to just stop that fight and make it free. I'm a little surprised at Couch not taking it on. We'll see, as Zyrak does immediately go for it, if Couch gets punished for that.
Yeah, these guys are going to be real punchy, so it's going to be tough to get that. I think you probably have to lower the battle speed to actually get a shot here. And you probably need to have your agility manipulated a little bit better. You can see just getting blown up.
Yeah, you'd want to throw Tela in the middle and have your Kane go really early so that Kane can get it off.
Ooh, but he got away with it. Managed to keep one Kane alive before he threw down that Hourglass, so he gets to bring everybody back up and finish the job here.
Yeah, the board AI is subtle. Doesn't always immediately punish you for things.
Depends if Board's having a good day or not. Just how much he wants to taunt you and destroy you and make you feel terrible about everything. It looks like Couch actually is doing the quick Sheila 1 check over here, which I'm super happy about. So if you go into Sylph Cave and you go have a chat with Yang, you don't need the pan to slap him and wake him up. You just need to talk to him, and then you go and talk to his wife Sheila here in Football Castle, and you get the little dialogue. She's like, "Oh, you found them, blah blah blah, etc." And she gives you an item, which is normally where she would give you the pan to go slap him, but in this case we get a nice spicy key item, which is holy crap. That's a darkness crystal. So, yikes.
Yeah, and we didn't see any sirens anywhere underground. That D machine is a little bit tempting at this point. Maybe check the moon shop and the moon character to see what's up there. But that is a really nice find. Meanwhile, Zyrak through that fight gets a whole bunch of levels, did some life glitching and some weaking on those guards, and picks up
Adamant. Oh wow, so that is half a forge. That's extremely spicy to find here. Might not be necessary, honestly. Oh, and speaking of D-Machine Grind, Couch is right there doing it right now, so he's going to do this new manipulation that was found recently, where you actually can manipulate what fight you get in the giant to do the grind based on where you are at Baron. So let's see what he does. I'm trying to get the count out here.
Yeah, with those levels Zyrak just got, it looks like he's going to go straight to Dwarf and make that play. A nice 1-2 punch to pick up a whole bunch of levels off of that guards fight, and then leverage those into being able to take out the, hopefully take out these two bosses here in Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, those levels are going to be big. Sorry, I'm trying to add at the same time. It's hard to talk. It's hard to do that. Like, is that row 8?
Yep. Don't worry, I gotcha. We got some Magma Scissors, it looks like. They're jumping behind the wall. So that rune axe that Zyrak has kept is going to be real handy for those canes.
Absolutely, yeah. But those levels are going to make that a lot less difficult. Although Magma Sisters here are not fun, but honestly, like I feel like if you can get Quake set up with Palom, I assume Quake is on Palom. I'm not sure actually.
Yes, but Palom did pick up Quake. I'm pretty sure, and we definitely saw Berserk on Forum. So again, the Runeaxe Cane should have a field day with them.
Yeah, it's gonna get blown up real fast, which is really good because the second boss has a lot fewer hit points. Although we don't know who it is, it could be somebody spicy or Vanilla Golbez is probably the worst thing to find there. But this is good to get out of the way quickly here. I guess Couch is set up on the grind because it looks like he's taking out enemies. Did anybody see the number on that? I'm just curious. It's not super important, but the point is he is trying to set up, take out a certain number of enemies here, and then he can turn off encounters, go up to Giant, and turn on encounters at either the spot where the save room is or at the what is it called, the neck? Where's the elements room? So then he can get the first battle will be the D machine. He can start his grind.
And we got some Dark Imps in the second half. Also pretty free fight. They'll still punch a little bit because this is a high magic. This is a very bad magic spot, but has a little bit of punching power. So we'll probably hope to get a little bit lucky on some of these attack rolls, or just get the Quake out really fast.
Ooh, ouch! Yeah, there's taking out that cane real quick there. But yeah, no, Quake should probably one shot here, assuming he can stay alive. Ooh, that was a punch. But Board AI is kind to Zyrak this afternoon, and that should be it. But while we're at it, Couch is actually going up to the moon here, so we're gonna see how his grind goes. But yeah, the D machine grind is extremely efficient. You just need Atella and Ethers, and then you can set it up so that you take out the little, what are they called? Those little turrets that shoot the lasers and stuff, and then you hit. There you go, beamers, thank you. And then you hit the alert, and the alert automatically summons D-Machine to fight for him, and then you can cast Weak on the D-Machine and hit it with one shot, and life glitch it by using life on it, which actually doubles the amount of experience you get out of each one. Sometimes you can even get 2 lives off and get 3 in a row. And then if you do all that stuff, after you do a bunch of them, you're basically going to be able to get ready for go mode. Although I'm a little concerned, it looks like Couch stopped for a second there.
Yeah, and we just get an Artemis bow from Luca Cave, the sealed cave spot after we see the red right hand go away, and then around her neck, the Dwarven Princess presents us with a life staff. So
Oh, wow.
Womp and Womp from Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, I mean, Zyrak is going to keep that life staff and that arty bow because they're like good items, but that was an extreme womp on his end. That stinks. So that was basically totally a useless thing, but at least he knows that at least he got some XP and some good items.
Yeah, definitely useful for the XP. Tella was down during most of it, which is kind of nice because you kind of want to keep, if you're going to have Tella as your agility anchor, you want to keep his overall agility pretty low as you get up into the levels, just so that he stays nice and slow. And as you said earlier, that means everyone else goes a little bit faster. We now have definitely enough HP and levels overall to go to the top of the tower, do a nice keyless tower play. Zyrek's just doing a nice, quick, efficient clear of the underground. Meanwhile, Couch is sacrificing time for clear in order to just go get all the levels he'll hopefully need for the Z fight.
Yeah, so he's setting up his encounter, and actually it looks like, okay, so I think Zyrak saved in front of tower, and he's basically doing a save scum play here by going to Sylph and then going to check Sheila 1, and if it's nothing, then he can just reset back and do top of tower. But we already know that Sheila 1 is going to give him the goods in that Darkness Crystal, so he won't be resetting back. I think he'll be probably doing the same thing as Couch, honestly, but we'll see if he has other ideas.
Yeah, with the levels that Zyrak has, I'd still be tempted to come back down and check Keyless Tower just in case, because you've already kind of established a lot of time here clearing things. But it's an interesting gamble, and it's one that you kind of struggle with as a runner pretty constantly of like, I can go get all my levels. It's not that far into the game. Like, it'll be about 42 minutes or so by the time that Zyrak would be able to get that, do the whale cutscene, and probably set up the thing. And that's not a horrible time to do a D machine. You kind of feel less urgency to do it once you get into like the hour mark, hour 15, unless you've had a heck of a struggle of a scene.
Yeah, absolutely. It's difficult to, and also like the other thing is, if you do giant, oftentimes I feel like it's best to just try and go do moon and not come back. So you don't really want to, excuse me, you don't really want to leave stuff hanging on Earth. And since the only thing left on Earth at this point, I think, is top of tower and that Leviathan Val spot, which is no thank you for a little bit. I could see him wanting to get that tower spot taken care of before he goes and grinds and then goes to the moon. We do still have that Mist Dragon who's elusive and could be literally anywhere and could be holding the goods.
Yeah, hide and seek champion of Free Enterprise, although in this tournament, Fu is giving Demas a run for his money, since Fu is going to have a perfect record of not showing up.
Yes, that will be one. Yeah, Fu is sitting this one out, unfortunately. I think he needed to take a nap for a couple of years, so yeah, he was unable to play with us this time. But because he's extremely powerful and you can get spells very early on, it was decided to exclude him from this race or this tournament. But that's okay. We all know he's our friend, and he'll be around when we're done.
Yeah, and a little bit of chatter going on in chat, talking about that Valvalis in the Leviathan spot that Zyrak looked at and said heck no to. The Moonveil does not protect against a gradual petrify. That'll just go straight through, if I remember correctly. So it's not a totally free fight.
Yeah, if you happen to have a bunch of heal potions on you, or if you threw it on somebody who could heal, you can make it through. It might take a lot longer. It depends on who you're using. Like you wouldn't want to use a Bacchus wine and just kind of roll with it and hope that you survive, because you probably petrified before you finish the job. It's a pretty high hit point spot, and she's really fast, so you're going to get petrifies coming out extremely quickly. But it looks like Zyrak actually, instead of doing D Machine, it looks like he's taking a look on the moon and seeing who the moon character is. Maybe doing some work up here before he does any grinding. So one of the difficult things on Couch's end doing the D-Machine grind is when you come in here with extremely low levels, just setting the thing up so that you have the alert ready and you have everybody moving in the correct order takes a lot longer, because taking out those, darn it, I already forget the late beamers. Is that what they were called?
That's right. They are beamers.
Yeah, taking them out actually takes a while. Like, it takes a handful of attacks, and then you have to deal with the beams hitting you and all this stuff, and finally then you can get ready, but it's definitely a slower process to get all that set up.
Yeah, and chat talking about some of the things that do protect against that gradual petrify. Available to us as runners in this tournament, the ribbon, the Gaia robe, and the Aegis shield all count there. Adamant armor would protect, but adamant armor also champion hide and seek in this tournament. Never going to show up.
Yeah, Aegis shield is really spicy. Okay, interesting. So the Moon shop has coffins. That could be extremely useful, not only for setting up free fights someplace, but also, although honestly, I think a lot of the fights that would give you freebies for the coffins and stuff have already been found, because we found both guards and we found the Dark Imps. But those coffins could still be really useful, especially if sirens end up being found someplace, because then you could do some really easy egg cracking.
Yeah, if sirens exist, they're now guaranteed to be gated behind the hook in Evelyn in the Evelyn shop. But again, sirens don't have to exist, so we might be just looking at a D machine at all for either runner in order to get straight up there.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm not sure what. Very curious.
I mean, Zilch does point out that adamants could show up. They technically still exist if you find pink puffs and grind on them. You have a 1 in 64 chance of getting an adamant armor from a pink puff death. You will make Dravenheart very, very happy if you go and fight pink puffs. So, just consider that.
That is true. It's all about making Dravenheart happy, and also the memes. Honestly, I think it would be super fun. But no, nobody's gonna. I don't think anybody's going to do that in a race that counts. If they've already lost, maybe they'll do some memes. But it would be truly hilarious if somebody went in and just did a couch 2 wing it and went after. You can drop us. I don't remember the room, but you could drop a siren there and pink puffs will pop, and then it would be awesome to just see an adamant armor pop, and all of a sudden you've got a super powered character.
Zoom Waffle saying there's an item shop there. This is where you get the pass in vanilla. So instead of getting access to the room of questionable taste, you get access to Zeromus. But here it's just another shop. So Troya is a very nice shopping destination because the shops are pretty condensed, and you do get 2 different item shops. But Couch is all done with his grinding. He's got a lot of levels. We're seeing a lot of spells come out, and that Edward's going to have upwards of 1,000 HP.
Huh, I wonder if he's going to be going after, like, Eddie strats or something. I'm curious because he still keeps that Eddie. But yeah,
Eddie doesn't even have 1,000. Poor Eddie.
Oh, we still love you, Eddie. But yeah, that was a super efficient grind, honestly. Like, it only took him, like it's like 6 minutes or so, which is pretty efficient for these kind of things. So he's basically, I don't know if he's quite go mode ready. I didn't see where the spells landed.
Gate Cooped in chat said he missed Nuke, so probably just doing a bunch to get some of those canes up there. And Flammarian Knight asking it's far faster to walk out compared to Warping. Warping should be a little bit faster if you didn't have to go all the way to the Elements room, and it's still probably faster, but then you have to remember to get into the spell list and blah blah blah. Sometimes it's just more effort necessarily. It's not going to be that much noticeably faster.
Yeah, often when I'm doing giant, I just feel like, okay, I'm done. I'm just running. Like, I don't even think about, like, okay, do the efficient thing. I'm just like, okay, I got it done. Whew, I can exhale. I am surprised though that Couch, did he check element spot? Did he just book it?
No, he just booked it. He hadn't gone very far into the save room. He had been pretty much just at the beginning of the passage there.
Right, that's what I thought. So, that could be actually to his detriment, depending on what happens. Because if there happens to be a Mist Dragon that's got Hook in there, per chance, then it would be to his detriment to fade that. But most likely, it's not a big deal. He does have the levels to basically take out everything, and he actually is doing that. He's going to Dwarf Castle, which we already know is pretty much garbage. So we'll see what he ends up doing here. He might end up going back to Moon because he's definitely Moon viable at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like early 40s on most of his characters. So gonna look for another 7 levels on Palin to get him to nuke. Kind of missed exactly where Porum was.
There was... Oh, what level Porum was? Yeah, I'm not sure either. I think Porum got a Cure 4, but I might be wrong about that. But yeah, unfortunately for Porum, her leveling up takes... She doesn't get quite as good a level up curve as Rosa does. At the higher levels, she doesn't get a lot of HP. Her spells take a little while to get. So, it's a little tougher for her to get some sort of Z ready and Moon boss ready.
But Porum's got pluck.
Porum's
and
got
gumption.
Yes, all those things. I would consider Porum to be a better early game setup because you can get exit from her. She starts with Blink and Berserk very quickly, so she's got a lot of early game advantage, I think, even over Rosa. But late game is a little tougher, but absolutely still viable end game.
Yeah, and Cindy with the big favorite of Couch, knocking out hungry Tella, and Eddie does a nice hide. So is through the Mega Sisters here on this first spot on his way to get an Artemis Bow and a Life Staff.
Yeah, I mean, the one nice thing for Couch here is that he, already has all the levels, and those Mega Sisters he's plowed. Like, these bosses are going to be a lot quicker, so it's not as bad that he's doing this, even though he's, not getting anything, because he's going to be done in a minute or two.
Yeah, Zilch noticing that Couch did not go all the way to the highest levels. Those levels are a little bit low for endgame, for finishing it out. He's kind of in the mid to low 40s.
Yeah, so it's not perfect, but it's probably good enough to start. It's good enough to maybe check out the Moon bosses, or the Fey March bosses. Well, we know the one's free, but I think these levels are high enough to try and take out the Alpha, and then being able to at least start fighting stuff on the Moon, get high enough levels to finish off a couple of bosses there and get that XP maybe.
Yeah, you could definitely consider doing Val. Maybe throw the Veil on Palom, get some links off with Porum. And while normally you don't want to jump with Kayn against Valvalis, especially in a highly punchy spot, it's really going to be the way you're going to get your faster damage, I think, in that, especially if you're willing to use the Moon Veil.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, with this party makeup, I would be tempted to kind of throw out a bunch of blinks and get all that stuff set up. Then you can sort of get your healing shored up because you've got Porum and Tella being able to heal. So I think that might be the safest bet. But yeah, you could probably just do jump strats and cure and stuff as long as you've got decent enough armor.
Yeah, you'd be more interested in doing the jump strats if you actually had taken Palom all the way to nuke. But since Couch had no slingshot set up, that's kind of a long slog to get the kids up all the way to their top spells. So that could be part of why Couch cut it a little bit short. He also might not have had enough life potions. People were in chat were mentioning as a possibility.
Oh, interesting. Did he not buy life potions? That's right. He didn't go to the Moon Shop, so the Moon Shop had life potions. I mean, they might be elsewhere, but
yeah,
it was Cyrac that actually saw them.
Life potions will be guaranteed in an overworld shop, just like Starveils and Cure 2s, as part of as long as you keep the S flag as safe. If you turn on unsafe, then you're just up to the luck of the randomizer. But we do have safety checks to make sure that you are able to have life potions and Starveils, some of those very necessary seeming items in Free Enterprise in order to get past some of the bosses.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to put my faith in that kind of thing in Ward's hands. That's a little scary. So those flags are definitely good to stop Ward from just wreaking havoc on your life.
Yeah, and they're definitely more necessary once you get into some different flag sets to kind of limit your character selection a little bit. In previous tournaments, we've seen like 2 to 3 person hook routes, and doing those without curatives or Starveils would just be a heck of a slog to both play and watch. So we just make sure that the game can run smoothly.
Yeah, totally. And I think, Zoe was mentioning, I believe that, Cyrac got a Soma drop, I think, or one of them did, but I believe it was Cyrac. And one of the nice things about that is that Tella actually starts with 90 hit points. Well, he always has 90 magic points, 90 magic points. So Soma Drop will it's a J item that automatically gives 10 magic points to anybody, so if you give that to Tella, he ends up with 100 magic points, which not only unlocks Medio, but it also makes grinding a lot more efficient, because the week that he needs to cast on those dragons is 25 magic points exactly. So instead of having 3 and then having to throw ethers down a little sooner, you can actually do 4 complete ones and then throw down the ether. So it makes that fight a lot more efficient.
Yeah, and if you happen to have someone else who can do some healing during the fight and aren't relying on Tella's healing, you can then kind of use like full magic bars as a barometer as a way to count, because counting is hard, y'all. I often just kind of lose track of where I am. Black Shinobi in the runner review that he and Bingano did yesterday mentioned using the J attack items that you can buy, like the Notice or Bomb or Thor Rage, in order to count how many D machines you've done. I think that's a really nice bit of tech.
Oh yeah, that's really good. It's tough to wrap my head around all that stuff. I try. But yeah, math is very difficult, and there is so much math in this game. Like, oftentimes, oh wow, Couch just did the stone and just destroyed in one shot those 2 guards, so that was pretty super efficient there.
Yep, he picked up his shiny space rock. Definitely will be happy to see it. Probably not too unhappy that he faded it early because he got to save some items. Doing a quick duck in and out of the room, happened to just choose the wrong way. And welcome in Natara and friends to this morning edition of Free Enterprise, or at least morning on the West Coast, early afternoon for everyone else.
Yeah, welcome. This has been a really good race so far. We always want more friends in here, so wow, we got to over 200 viewers. That's excellent. So yeah, thank you everybody for hanging out with us this afternoon. Looks like Couch is fading that Val. I guess a little intimidating. I can't totally blame him for this, but he is going a little meme here. He is doing that top of tower play. So I'm very curious to see. We don't know who the boss is because there was no hook route check where you can kind of walk over and see who's standing there. So we don't know who's up there, but it could be somebody extremely spicy. There have been no evil wall sightings as of yet, so I'm always hoping for just something extremely gross.
Yeah, probably not too much going to be gross here for the levels that Couch is at. Wyvern is probably one of the more awkward things, or the Alt Gauntlet. But I definitely agree that if you're going to come back down to Earth at all after doing that D-Machine grind, definitely a good idea to come to the top of the tower. Just make sure you don't leave anything behind. Even though it's a long walk up, if you get nothing, it's a short reset back down.
Exactly. This is a great spot to save Scum, because it's not that long a trip all the way up if you just run it, if you wing it, as it were. And we get a Dark Elf here, so that's a pretty safe fight at this point, especially if you can keep that if Palom has that weak, you don't even need Nutella. You can cast weak on his second form. He does not have the boss bit, so he's actually susceptible to some status effects. And then if you cast weak on him, you can one-shot him. So this is going to be kind of a joke for Couch at this point.
Yeah, it is vulnerable to both stop and weak, but things like Fatal or Coffin don't work on the second form. So don't waste your time on those. Just stop it or weak it.
Yeah, and this is a pretty high hit point spot. Obviously, for this group, it's not going to be a big deal. So yeah, being able to just cast weak and just finish the job in one shot is really nice.
Yeah, fun facts, Dark Elf second form is a dragon, also absorbs holy magic. So don't cast white at it, friends. It's a bad idea.
Yeah, I've definitely done that. It's not awesome. It's like, yeah, I'm almost getting done, and then I throw a white down. Oh no, I just healed for 9,000 damage. That's super great.
But do use your crystal swords against Dark Elf. It's going to do great damage against both halves.
Yeah, as with everything, Crystal Sword is kind of the answer. Crystal Sword is the duct tape of your Enterprise. You can basically hit your way around any problem with that thing. Zyrek is doing a pretty efficient job over here with the D-Machine grind. I haven't kept track of how many, but since he does have all those life potions, he can really probably push all the way through and get basically Z-ready levels here. Nice pull here. That's a tough one. Worst time. Wyvern Standard Time or Daylight Savings Time? I'm not sure.
Hey, that's a Legend Sword. That's an objective completable. That's some good news for Couch.
Wow, yeah, so now at this point, we're down to literally one item for go mode. All we need here, since we have Forge, is to get either the package or the hook, and we're done. So that's extremely spicy.
Yeah, also spicy could be that Kogel shop. Since it's gated behind multiple key items, does get an even extra boost behind than just the normal gated shops. So we could see some really, really fun stuff in there. What would you be wanting, Ground Flyer?
That's a good question. So I think I would want at least one Zeus Gauntlet just to get Kane a little more online, although, his weapons haven't been super fantastic. I don't think any weapons really show up for him in there that I recall. I mean, obviously he's got Ogre Axe, so maybe one of those. A Ribbon would be really nice to throw on Porum so that she's able to survive a Big Bang a lot easier. There's some good defense items. Maybe a Moon Veil. There's a number of things that are really spicy in there that you absolutely want to see. Also, the chests in there are really spicy. I think I walked by the bookshelf in there when I went to talk to Kakol one time and got a Zeus Gauntlet casually out of it. and 20 gold pieces this time, unfortunately, but you can often find really good stuff. Basically anywhere underground, anywhere that's gated, but it's super good here because we've got the Tia Wildish flag on, which what that basically means is things that are gated or kind of in more obscure locations have a higher weight to good items. So then you end up being able to get really, really spicy stuff out of some places. You know, like Watery Pass, you can get literally like defense swords and stuff out of it. We got Power Shirt. Definitely want to see that on a Kane right now. That's going to give pretty good defense, but extremely good offensive boosts too.
Absolutely love the power move of getting that Excalibur and immediately turning around and selling it. Also selling that Artemis bow. Edward just got a little bit less useful in the Z fight.
Oh yeah, and on top of that, those are crystal rings too. So crystal and ribbons are basically like, I would say they're the best items for Z in terms of magical defense. The magical defense is off the charts. So you could survive even with not terribly high hit points like 17 or 1800. You could probably survive an Unnerved Big Bang with that. But yeah, it looked like Couch sold that Moon Veil, and honestly, yeah, at this point, I mean, there are some bosses that would be free here. Like if you found an evil wall, that would be super good. But I mean, with blink strats, you can probably cover just about anything else.
Yeah, level 45 Kane definitely has enough hit points or enough damage potential and accuracy in order to kind of get through that Valvalis. But Couch just leaving a save there. It's going to be doing. Where is Couch actually looking for?
I think he did a quick.
This might be a spicy demist Mega Sisters check. I kind of like it.
Oh wow, interesting. I have not seen anybody do that before. Now I don't think we saw either runner check out the elements spot, so there could be mist in that direction. They both faded it, so not sure that's going to happen. But yeah, if there happens to be a secret mist dragon over here, it'd be super fun to find. But this is kind of a long check, so it's interesting. However, I believe that Couch is just doing a quick save scum here because he saved right outside of Feymarch Cave, so he probably wants to just check this really quick, and if it's nothing, then he can go back and take on that Valvalis. I think he wants to basically finish off the Earth before he heads to the moon.
Yeah, and Zyrak is finished with his grind, replaces Tella with that Porum in the Watery Passage that he left there as an anchor. Porum at base level is a fantastic anchor, has a low enough agility that everyone in the game can easily, including Lucia, can be relative agility 1 when she is your anchor. And yeah, you're right. Couch did save before the Land of Summon Monsters sees a sparkle, resets all the way back down.
I would have at least been curious to check out who that sparkle was, because there's still a Wyvern out there, but I don't think we've seen many sparkles yet. We saw Oko. That might be the only one. But also, it looks like Zyrak now on the moon, so he is definitely making that play on the moon. He's going to Cave Bahamut, so we're always hoping for the meme here, the value in Cave Bahamut. But I love checking this early because you can literally walk over and look, there's like a little space on the side and that on the floor where the boss is, and you can just see the boss standing there and find out who you have to fight. It's super quick to get there. He's not even bothering though, he's just walking straight in. Oh, we got some tentacles, so that means Octoman, who's gonna punch extremely hard here. I think this is a really high physical DPS spot, so you kind of just want to hit him as fast as you can to get his tentacles to lessen. If you take out the more tentacles you take out, the slower he becomes, which is really useful because he starts out extremely fast, but when you get those tentacles down, he's actually super slow. You can kind of just destroy him. And of course, when you have Nuke on Palom, it makes this a little easier too.
Yeah, Nuke solves a lot of problems. Shoving a squid in the microwave is a bad idea for dinner, but a good idea for bosses and for Enterprise.
I want some calamari. Maybe not a monster calamari, that might be kind of weird, but otherwise just regular calamari sounds delicious.
Would monster calamari be something that the Outback Steakhouse might serve?
I would go with yes, absolutely. The Outback is full of very dangerous animals, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of octopus that could swim through land. That would be something to see in Australia, probably.
Yeah, we'll have to get JDP or Infinius to kind of weigh in on that as our resident Australian residents.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny. But yeah, Couch is actually now checking the shop up here on the moon, and he's going to be getting some coffins. It looks, I guess, Yeah, so I thought he was going to do the Valvalis check, but it looks like he just decided to go to Moon instead. But he is getting those life potions, so that's going to be really helpful. I think Octomam's almost dead at this point, and yep, there we go, gone. So we'll see if this value pays off. I mean, regardless, I'm guessing he's just going to keep the levels and exit. And Couch is doing the same thing, actually. They're both looking for similar value.
And that's a pan. So Cyrac, I don't think chases that immediately. Couch, I would be super tempted to go chase that pan.
That's a difficult one because yeah, pan straight up gives you 2 checks. If you've already done Sheila 1, you get the pan hit item and you get the give pan back to Sheila item. I wouldn't be it looks like he's just making a run for it. I would probably save Scum here on the Moon, and I'm guessing that's what Couch will end up doing too. Just to take a quick look and see if it's there. If it's not, you can just reset back and continue.
Yeah, since Cyrac is looking for 2 of any 3, he's got to hit it perfectly, where Couch is just looking for 1 of any 2. So I'm a little bit more interested in it for Couch, although as Zilp says, there's so many chain key items left too, so if this runs into like an Earth Crystal or a Baron Key, you're probably obligated to go do those too. Definitely a very, very interesting opportunity for the runners, and could be some rabbit holes or not. Legend Sword was at the top of the tower, Pixel Tamer.
Yeah, Keyless Tower was a spicy check by Couch here. But yeah, as Inven points out, Couch did sell that Moon Veil to get some extra cash to buy stuff. This would be the fight to have it, because again, this is super punchy, and he's still got all his tentacles. So he needs to take some shots, but it's tough. He's literally getting one shot by everybody. So, really gross.
Yeah, super punchy spot. Not what you really want to see without a couple of more physical fighters. But 1 tentacle down, we're getting that Berserk out on Kane. If Porum can get some more cures, or some blinks especially, out, the blink's doing some really good work for Couch.
Yeah, but those characters, man, everybody's just getting beat up. I don't know, Kane. I don't know if Kane just hasn't been hit yet, or if he's just got super good defense or something like that. But
I think Kane is yet to be targeted. He's going to take 1,500 from that. Front row is going to just do a lot.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it looked like Couch accidentally lifed his own character that was already up, so that was a misclick. But
so I think I missed it, but chat seems to be indicating that there was a Crystal Sword there at Sheila at the Sylph's turn in. So always a Crystal Sword, I guess. PK continues to be correct.
It's always there. Well, in these seats, obviously, not in the table stuff, but yeah. So that's not greatly helpful at this point, although it's good to sell. Tower Key's interesting. Okay, well that does 2 things. One, it gives obviously an extra check that Cyrac has that Couch does not, but it also gives Cyrac the impetus to go to Tower completely. We already know Tower's got that Legend Sword, so that's extremely valuable for him, and gonna even this fight up a little bit. Actually, I mean, that might even put Cyrac in a little bit of an advantage here because he's got the hit points.
Yeah, but Palom eventually gets a virus off to finish off that Octoman. Couch gets his pan, and we'll see if he goes to chase that immediately also.
Yeah, but as people in chat were saying, this does open up more rabbit holes. So, that Tower Key could end up being Earth Crystal or Music or, Baron, and then you end up being like, well, I guess I gotta go do those things. It also could be Go Mode. I mean, it could be Package or Hook, but it's definitely tough when you want to go through and you're like, well, I have to continue this all the way to the logical endpoint.
Yeah, if you chase it, you have to finish it out. Otherwise, you're just handing time to your opponent. Couch looks like is going to walk back out, do a quick save, and then probably do the same pans that saves on the check.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he's doing. So he'll go in, he'll do the Sheila stuff and get the Tower Key, probably do Tower Key, and we'll see what happens there. So Cyrac and Couch are basically on even footing at this point, I would say, in terms of at least where they're at.
Yeah, in terms of progression, Couch a little bit behind in terms of levels. If they have to go back to the moon and finish stuff off, as long as Couch can get through those fights quickly, that level advantage will disappear a little bit. But definitely pretty close right now. Hard to say who's ahead, who's behind, or make any reasonable predictions.
Now, Okay, interesting. Well, I guess it's not super useful here, but we did see that looked like Odin at the Rubicante spot. So that's nice to know, just to know that Odin is not going to be any gross moon spot that you might end up having to fight. So a lot of times you can get, even if you get knowledge about a boss you're never going to face, you can get knowledge that you're not, that you're not going to have to face it somewhere else, and kind of add that to your information.
Yeah, you feel better about maybe selling that Thunderclaw or not having a Thunderclaw where if you see that Odin is in a spot that you don't have to fight.
Exactly. So yeah, maybe that so far that Thunderclaw has not been to the detriment of Couch, but we'll see we'll see if that continues. I doubt that anybody would take a Cecil at this point.
No, with all the time that we have spent leveling up people and without any ready access to Sirens in multiple, not going to have any particular use for that Cecil. And Zyrak learning that white spells do cure Dark Elf Dragon Form. Form giving just a nice little boost back to the Dark Elf. And here's the second one.
Yeah, it looks like he's got full-on magic strats, and unfortunately, 2 of them cast white, so basically full healed Dark Elf twice, which kind of bites. I don't know if he has weak, so okay, good. He is now casting weak, so he's gonna one-shot. And Couch did just get the tower key, so we're gonna see where that goes. I think they're basically gonna be doing this simultaneously at this point. It's been a really exciting match so far. I mean, honestly, like, the big difference here so far, I think, is that Couch went up to do the D-Mission grind and just had a limited number of life potions. That's like really the whole fundamental difference between these two racers and where they're at right now.
Yeah, left his party a little bit more vulnerable to that Octomam in terms of just taking extra damage, being able to be one-shot pretty constantly by that fight. And does have that Eddy instead of a third Porum, so has a little less offense until we could pick up a Spoon.
Yeah, exactly. That Spoon would be super nice. I don't hate having even an Eddy at low levels. Like, can absolutely speed up any fight. Because C, he's not so viable. I mean, you might try and get a Zerg off and get a couple of shots. Ooh, hey, it's bonus round in that tower. We've got Mist Dragon hanging out in the cannon room. So we're not only going to get the key item from this as we walk out from the tower itself, we're also going to get to be able to check Radia's mom in Mist, in Town of Mist, and she will her body will also have an item on it. I guess we're looting her corpse, which is a little macabre, but it works.
So between Earth Crystal, Baron Key, and Twin Harp, if you get 2 of those 3, which one are you least interested in chasing?
Earth Crystal, definitely. Earth Crystal is such a long check because you have to go in. There's one boss that's got really high hit points at the Maga Sister spot, and then you go in and you have to do there's a whole cutscene where there's 2 characters. I mean, sometimes you might want the character, but they're basically in end game at this point, so they're not thinking about that. It's the longest check. Like, it's longer than music in my opinion. So that's I would definitely fade that one the most. Baron would be my most interested one.
And then if you feel it all behind, like, I don't know if Couch feels behind or not from not being able to get the full day machine, taking a little bit extra time that we saw on doing the Octomam fight. Does that maybe change your opinion at all if you're feeling behind, or you still just go for the multiple key item check and not worry about whether you're ahead or behind because you're already making this gamble?
Well, if that's tough, I don't. Well, okay, that answers everything though. Tower is Hook and Hook is go mode, so everything is done now. I don't think anybody's going to bother checking Mist at this point because we're here. It is time to see how powerful these racers are, because they are basically ready to go take on Threemus as soon as they have the hit points to do it.
Yeah, we'll see what wonderful tier 7 item we get out of this Pinktail too. Maybe another Crystal Sword, maybe an Avenger. Couch also going to do that check on D-Mist. Visit the Sunbathing Mother of Rydia.
Yeah, this isn't bad. Honestly, on Couch's side, he's got 8 key items. So if he gets 1 and then completes the objective, boom, he gets Twin Harp. So he'll get the 1 when he hands in the Pinktail and gets the Crystal. That's 10 key items. So he can do his grind a lot more efficiently. I'm not sure what his grind exactly is going to be yet, because he doesn't, of course, we don't have sirens unless he does check Evelyn, which could have sirens. So I'm curious to see. He's got a lot of options here, but I think, at least he's got the 10 key items, and his ability to get levels will be extremely heightened.
Yeah, I mean, Couch could just go too. It's going to be a little bit of a slow Z fight, but Kane and Porum could just take him all the way.
Absolutely, and honestly, if Couch can continue nerfing Big Bangs, he's definitely ready to go. Like, he can definitely do this. And yeah, there's the crystal, there's go mode. But let's see, the item here is under normal conditions, you trade in the pigtail and you get the adamant armor, which is super powered. We don't have that here, so instead we get an Avenger. That's nice. So that's really great to throw on Kane, because it gives you the automatic berserk status, and you can just continue using it. Like, you can just equip it and you just start attacking everything and do extra damage from berserk status. So that might be something for him to put on. Although there are issues in this Threemus fight with having auto Zerk already on, so you might have to equip it during battle. Otherwise, you might end up getting like frozen.
You can also just make sure that Kane is in the 5th spot. That is safe. Or you could get an auto nerf and put Kane in the 2nd spot, and then if Tele throws the crystal, Kane, the Avenger will kind of put him in a little bit of a mimic glitch status, and he'll just automatically throw the crystal again, and you'll get that nerf. And hey, there are those sirens. Couch has got enough. He'll probably do a little bit of grinding, puts him a little bit behind Zyrak in overall. So I think Zyrak has a bit of an edge here.
Right,
but still very possible.
The thing about this, though, is that the advantage was leveling, but now Couch has a faster way to level. So that advantage is definitely lessened quite a bit.
Couch has a faster way to level, but Zyrak needs no more levels. Zyrak is going straight there.
So yeah, we got the pass. We don't even need to go back to the moon. I think it's time to see some stuff in chat. Let's do this. Get hype. So we got Threemus as the end boss always, because he's super powered and has some weird hit point stuff. But we always want to fight that end boss. However, we get to see one of over 450 different sprites, which encompass lots of different memes and other video games. It's all extremely exciting. But those Z flags are asking a certain question. Antidale, would you like to ask that question?
Whose butt are we going to kick today?
Today? Oh, it's always tonight, though. Well, I guess I'll let it pass. But yeah, it is obviously in the middle of the day here, so that's okay. But yeah, we're going to see how this Threemus fight goes. He is definitely powerful. I think he's pretty set for reflex strats, because he's got 2 Porums and a Palom. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 Porums and a Palom, although I think one of them is just the anchor.
We have 1 anchor Porum, yeah. So we're going to see a few whites and the occasional nuke. It's a little bit... This always feels a little bit dicey just because white is slower to cast. Has a delay, I think, of 3, where nuke is instant. So it's a little bit harder to get off before you get to the second Big Bang. But it is absolutely possible.
Definitely. Now, that 1 Porum is only at 1778 hit points, which might be a little dicey for a full unnerfed Big Bang. So if that happens, that could be tough. But that other Porum has 2300. That must have been a slingshot, because that's a huge number of hit points for a Porum.
Yeah, it absolutely had to have been.
Following Gert, we see Threemus. Yes, I love it. Literally the number 0. Must destroy the number 0.
We must destroy the abstract concept of nothingness.
Exactly. That's very, I don't know what to say about that. Yeah, that's very existential. Yeah, already thrown up in Star Veil, just kind of keeping everybody cured here. It looks like conveniently the Reflect nuke hit the Porum with tons of HP, so it won't be a problem getting her back up to full health here before the Big Bang. It's already going to be nerfed anyway.
Yeah, and really important to nerf that first one, because the first Big Bang, Big Bangs have 2 different spell powers. They either roll for 9 hits of damage or 8 hits of damage, and that first one is a 9-hit Big Bang, so that would absolutely take out both Palom and the lower level Porum. The higher level Porum probably survives it. That one would do up to 2700 points of damage, and Porum with 2300 max HP probably dodges 1 or 2 rolls.
Exactly, but I mean, honestly, the speed that this happens... Oh, but unfortunately, Palom lost that Star Veil and just got obliterated by Porum. Sorry,
Man.
brother, I just obliterated you.
Sibling rivalry is a thing.
It sure as heck is. It sure as heck is. But it doesn't really matter. You're gonna life, get everybody back up. But I don't think this is gonna be an unnerved Big Bang this time. So we got to see if those Porums and that Palom survive. Looks like Couch has done his grind. We're close to it, so I'm guessing he's gonna be heading over to Z. Looks like maybe he's buying something from the Coal shop really quickly to get a little powerful. But as things are going with Zyrak, it looks like he's probably going to win this, but it's dependent on just kind of keeping everybody up.
Yeah, Zyrak is in the driver's seat, Couch doing a little bit more shopping. Probably just looking to maybe get that extra crystal ring, a little bit more defense on one of his characters, just to hopefully have an easier Z fight. But Couch's levels look really good. Should be pretty straightforward. The most questionable thing is that Bard with 1,300 hit points as a possible reflect target is a little bit suboptimal.
Yeah, it's not perfect. I think Couch's setup is not as powerful as Zyrak's simply because he doesn't have those extra. He only has a Palom and a Porum. He doesn't have an extra Porum, so there's not as much magic coming out. So doing reflect strats is going to be tougher, which means the Z fight's going to be a little longer. However, he is headed to the butt now. But on Zyrak's side, he's got to be careful. All those HP are just going to get wiped out if he gets hit by a Big Bang here.
Yeah, he does have 2 Porums though, so Cure Forge should be coming out pretty readily whenever he needs it. It's a little bit of a slower fight with the double Porum, but it's also, as long as they have enough HP, pretty safe because you're very likely that one of the 2 of them survive a high roll Big Bang. So you feel pretty confident with this overall. You just know it's going to be a little bit less fast than if you had multiple nukers instead.
So interesting. What just happened? Okay, there's a Big Bang and 2 whites just got cast. Oof. But one of the Porums is down. However, the other problem is that the other Porum is casting. Oh gosh, yeah. So they just got virus cast on them. I think that Porum, if they're not careful, might end up. Okay, but the black hole did not come out, which is the important thing. So that Star Veil stayed up. This might be over real soon. But for those who don't know, you got to keep an eye out here because you're not going to see the Meteo as we usually see at the end because this is skipping the refill. So it's just going to be a one and done.
Yeah, the refill mechanic, and just like most reactionary mechanics in Free Enterprise and Final Fantasy IV, only work when you do direct damage to someone. There's a few things that kind of check their own state, but most of them do just look to see, hey, I just got damaged, something happened to me. Now what am I going to do about it? And that is Threemus's HP refill in a nutshell. Once you get him to a certain point of damage, or when he takes damage and ends up at a certain HP total, he'll say, cool, I'm going to refill myself, and then does another thing. That's how he changes phases. And so when you do reflects, those reflected damages don't do that same check. So they just kind of keep going, and he kind of forgets that he just got punched in the face because it came from a non-direct source.
Exactly. But yeah, it looks like Zyrak is doing Power Overwhelming, and boom, we got the crack boom. So that is the end here. Zyrak is the winner. GG's to him with an official time of 1 hour, 19 minutes, 33 seconds. He advances to the first play-in. That is huge. GG's.
Yeah, GG's to Zyrak, and I believe that we might be holding off on any interviews for a little bit just to see if Couch is able to get this through pretty quickly. And maybe we can be able to get them both in the interview at the same time. Couch's Z fight, it looks like it's going pretty well so far. Got Avenger Kane, Avengeon doing a couple thousand points of damage a swing. Really helpful with those Berserkers because they do kind of help buffer inputs. When you're on battle speed 1, the ATB ticks go by so fast that it's really hard to actually enter commands as fast as possible so that you don't lose any time. But when you're getting that swing animation, it kind of buffers your inputs. You're able to get inputs in and not actually lose any ticks to the fight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I often see a lot of people just tick it up to battle speed 2 before the Z fight just to give that little bit of extra time. It really doesn't affect the length of the Z fight all that much, maybe a couple seconds, but it gives you just enough time to get those inputs a little bit quicker and make that Z fight a lot more efficient.
Yeah, Vantasia in chat asking what the difference was. Some of the difference was Couch did not grind all the way to massive levels. He ground only until the early 40s off of a D Machine grind.
Yeah.
So that put him a little bit behind, made some of his fights a little bit slower. And then also, party composition, Eddie isn't really doing a lot for Couch in any of the fights since then, where Zyark was able to leverage multiple forums for White. It just made some of those fights a little bit faster.
Yeah, definitely. When Couch did the D Machine grind, I don't think he still had the base level life potions. I don't think he had found them in a shop yet. So, I don't remember how much the basic kit gives you, but it's not a lot. So he only had that to work with, so he couldn't do a full grind, unfortunately.
Yeah, shopping in Free Enterprise is a thing that takes a little bit of time, and sometimes you get away with not really doing a lot of shopping, and then sometimes it bites you. In this case, it seems to have done a little bit of a biting of Couch, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I mean, still, regardless of that little bit of difference was everything. And honestly, like, this is still just tremendously close. We're still only like 2.5 minute difference here, and he should be finishing this up pretty quickly. Although I think he might be getting the refill because he was having Kane do some hits. I don't know if he threw a berserk on him or not. Oh, he's got the Avenger on him. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's just auto attacking. He doesn't even lose the berserk status when Black Hole comes out, because that is a permanent status.
Yeah, so with that Avenger, he's forced into the hybrid strats of having someone continually attack while you throw big spells with Threemus. But with this party composition and the levels that he's got, that's a really reasonable thing. It makes it pretty safe. He's able to get all these spells off, but you do probably see the refill. We probably see Meteor. Although if you time it quite right, you can still skip the refill.
Yeah, I had a fight where I actually got a crystal sword swing, and it's just a matter of that has to be the last hit to finish them off. You have to be careful about that. But yeah, if you could do like a physical swing and you're below the number, and then get like three whites in a row or something like that to finish, but it's really tight to do that.
And we're just down to Kane and the kids. Kane doing babysitting duties. Eddie and Tella have tapped out.
Yeah, they weren't really doing a whole lot. They were kind of just hanging out and cheering. They were kind of like the Yamcha of Free Enterprise this fight. Sorry, Yamcha. Sorry. And we get the crack boom! And Couch is done too. GG's to Couch with an official finish time of 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 26 seconds. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention. Has anybody seen where the package was yet? I'm kind of trying to pay attention to Zyrak's scroll a little bit, but I keep turning away. But it looks like we have Zyrak in here. GG's. Oh, and Couch. Hey, GG's to both of you.
Hey, thanks. GG's.
Yeah, that's a very good race. So, Zyrak first, tell us just a little bit about your thoughts on that race.
Boy, could you tell my hands were shaking in the Z fight? Watching that back was abysmal to watch.
Yeah, that definitely did not go on rails like you.
No, no. A lot of my characters ate nukes and whites. Yeah, I thought for sure I'd thrown the race on the Threemus fight, but apart from that, and apart from healing Dark Elf for a whole bunch with white too, yeah, I was pretty happy with the way this all went down. I'm pretty sure this was on T-Pro and not T-Wildish, but yeah, it was a good scene.
Yeah, those chests weren't terribly great. How did you feel getting Darkness Crystal? Because it was, where was it? Was it the I forget.
Sheila 1.
Sheila 1.
Sheila
Thank
1.
you. That's helpful. Yeah. So how did you feel when you saw that Darkness Crystal? Because you kind of were doing a bunch of other stuff. I think you did Dwarf first and everything. Did you feel at that point like you were pretty far behind?
Not really. I kind of figured that, well, I guess new is too strong, but I kind of felt like the Darkness Crystal had to be coming, getting down to this, like the dregs of one-off checks. So the only thing that really opened progression up was finding the Darkness Crystal, so I was that was why I did Sheila 1 before going into Keyless Tower, because I figured the Darkness Crystal was the next piece that I needed.
Yeah, and Couch, how did you feel about the seed as an overall thing?
Oh, I thought it was fun. A lot of silly characters. Not a lot of physical damage early on. I mean, you had a whole bunch of canes, but canes are expensive to equip.
Yeah, it takes a lot of armor and weapons. He starts out super weak. What I'm really curious about for you, Couch, is I saw you got Darkness Crystal. You're actually the first to get it, and you went up and did your D machine grind. How'd you feel like knowing that you kind of had a limited number of life potions? Because I don't think you found them in a shop yet. You had to kind of cut your grind a little short. Did that make you feel like a little behind? Did you feel like you needed to do some catching up there?
That was actually intentional. I've been kind of messing with like doing a mid 40s D machine and kind of finishing out grind later if I need to, which I ended up needing to with the seed. But a lot of times what I find if I do D machine really early, I'll have levels when I'm ready to go. But this just happened to be, hey, I found the pan at Bahamut and oh dang, I still need a few levels, so let's go pop a few sirens.
Cool, and not to interrupt you for too long, but I do want to get a little bit of the tunes here. It looks like we've got 2 Xanarkin from Final Fantasy X. Thank you, Zyrek, for pulling that up real quick. So let's just listen for a moment. We'll bring you right back.
So while we have that as some background music, both of you saw that pan from Octomam and decided to immediately chase it. What were your thoughts as you were saw that? And Zyrek, it was a little bit more of a gamble for you since you needed still 2 pieces of go mode.
Yeah, I knew I still had 2 checks left on the ground as well as whatever came off that pan. I didn't even set up a save to save Scummit. I figured I'm going to go down, I'm going to check this, I'm going to check whatever comes off it, and then I've got Keyless Tower and the Val and Fame March that I can do as well. So my intention was to just completely clear out whatever came off that. Just, Moon's Haunted, I guess. Just made the play.
Moon was just about haunted. Obviously, you had to do the pan. So
right.
That was a great check doing. You both did Cave Bahamut. That was the first thing you both checked. So that was extremely good value right there.
Yeah, Couch, do you like to do that Cave Bahamut check first and do top down, or
I
just
actually was just like, hey, we're on the moon, may as well pander to chat, go for that value, and it ended up being valuable. So
that pan part of pander sure worked out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Love the crystal sword. That was super useful for you both. But yeah. The memes actually were pretty good here. Obviously not Harp, but the Keyless Tower worked out, and the Cave Bahamut was value. Couch, how'd you feel about doing Keyless Tower? Because you did that pretty quickly.
I mean, I put off the moon too long. It was in the back of my mind the whole time, but I was like, well, I mean, I still got these couple checks. May as well just knock them out of the way. Hadn't found Demist yet, so that's why I did Maga Sisters, and that definitely cut into some of my time on Zyrek here.
Yeah, for sure. But you both played extremely efficiently. Like, this was a really close race. You were only 4 minutes apart, and like the differences were so minor. Like a little bit of leveling. There was not a lot of difference between you. You both did excellent. So one thing I'm curious about. You are both headed into play-in. Zyrek, you will be heading into the first 3-0 play-in. How do you feel about your chances there?
I'm very happy to have gotten this far and to have played this well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the play-in. I pretty sure no matter who else winds up in there, who has the opportunity to go in there, I'm going to wind up as one of the underdogs out of that group. That's just how talented they are. But I'm going to play my game, give it my best shot, and see what happens.
Awesome. How about you, Couch? How do you feel going into that second play-in? You're going to be one of many sharks in there, and it's going to be really tough. But how do you feel going into that?
I don't know. I'm pretty excited for whatever happens. I joined to have fun. If I happen to do well, I do well. But I'm mostly just in it for the fun, having these awesome close races with friends, and just, I don't know. I'm excited. Just more racing is always good.
Speaking of fun, we did enjoy your little dancing around with the dwarves in the back of Tomra. That was good fun.
That actually cost you the race. No, I'm kidding.
I figured he needed a dance partner. What was his actual job, by the way? Does anybody know?
He was an administrative law judge.
Oh, see, then he definitely needed a dance partner.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, any final thoughts?
Just GG to Zyrak. Good luck in your first play-in. Hopefully we don't see each other in the second play-in. But yeah, good luck, dude.
Thanks, man. You too. Great racing you. One of the true good guys on Twitch and in the FA community in general. So, and I knew skill wise we're both very close. So I knew this was going to be a good one. So yeah, good luck in your playing as well. And just want to say thanks to Zoe, Maggie, and the both of you for helping out with the restream today.
Yes, I would like to echo that as well. Huge thanks to everybody behind the scenes and chat as well. You know, chat and anybody watching is just fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you both for being heckin' rad. You're both truly awesome people. Everybody in this community, I think, is really awesome. But I really appreciate you doing this race. I appreciate you being part of this tournament. It's been so much fun, and I wish both of you the best of luck in the play-ins.
Thanks so much.
All right, take care, guys.
Yeah, and don't go way too soon, viewers. We are going to be kind of holding on here for a little bit while we are waiting for the 2 o'clock race to get set up. So we do have a double header. We'll be featuring, I believe it is Iker versus Forsyth after this.
That is right. Now I'm trying to see. There are other races going on today, I believe. We've got, so there's Ike. Oh, no, it's Ikir and Pixel Tamer at 2 p.m.
That's right.
And then we've got on RPG Limit Break at 8 p.m. tonight, Gundam Pilot Spaz versus Nitsky. That's going to be exciting. Two racers that I beat. So I'm very curious to see how that goes. And then the final race is on Free Enterprise at 9 p.m. We've got King Potato 113 versus RN Castro 86. So we've got a lot of good races this Monday. This is going to be a really exciting evening. But yeah, stick around, everybody. I guess we'll probably be playing some tunes, just kind of hanging out before the stream switches over, and we will be seeing the next race.
Yeah, and just to continue that hype a little bit, the Ikea Pixel Tamer race is another 2-0 race of 2-0 people in the hook route at the time. And then both races later tonight are 1-1 races. So one of those runners will be eliminated, and one of them will continue on and have a chance at those elimination matches. So just so much on the line in this last week of the Swiss round here. It's just going to be a really exciting week as we wrap up Swiss in this particular week.
Yeah, stay tuned for 2-0 races because they're going to be super tight, and stay tuned for those 1-1s because, win or go home is so much. The stakes are so high. I wouldn't be surprised if those are just going to be absolute battles. They're going to be super tight, and I'm going to be one of them. But they're going to be really fun. This whole week is going to be great, and thank you all for hanging out. This has been a lot of fun. I enjoy commentating. I enjoy doing the restream stuff, but none of this can be done without you folks in chat hanging out and being fun and enjoying everything here. So thank you all. And also special thanks to Antidale for being my restream or my co-commentator, and to Zoe for bringing the action, and Maggie for pushing all the pretty buttons.
Yeah, absolutely. It was tons of fun ground, and of course the behind the scenes crew doing so much work that we just don't, that you only see the good parts of it. You don't get to see Zoe scrambling a little bit as we had a little bit of trouble with Cyrax's stream, trying to get it fixed. And then Maggie with just laser focus, getting all those objectives and key items lit up for you as they're happening. It's actually shockingly hard work to have the attention span throughout the entire race to do that, and do that so well.
Absolutely. But yeah, in the meantime, I think we're probably going to cut here, and you could listen to tunes until 2 p.m. when we start up again with the next race. But until then, it has been a pleasure. I am Groundflyer, and Antidale, thank you so much.